Welcome to the Musar video blog. One of the classic works of Musar, Mesilas Yesharim, Path of the Just. In his first section, he talks about Zehirus, which we translate as vigilance. And he says, I'll just read you his words, that a person should mizbonen u'mifakeach al masav udrachav, which basically means a person should deliberate and think about what his deeds are and the ways that he's going in life. It means he's telling you, you got to be watchful, vigilant. You have to think about what you're doing in life. You just don't want to go through life and let life pull us along. And then he explains a little bit later on, and he says that this applies, it applies at a time when you're doing something and at a time when you're not doing something. Meaning that when we are acting, doing things in this world, we should be thinking about what we're doing. We shouldn't just be operating by rote, but we should actually be somewhat, as to borrow a modern expression, mindful of what we're doing. And also, even at times when we're not doing something, like at the end of the day, for instance, to look back on the day, think about what I did, and to examine it. So this, he says, is very, at the lower stages of our growth, is to be vigilant, to be thoughtful, mindful of what we're doing, when we're doing it, and then afterwards to examine what happened, think about it, plan for the future, something like that. So I want to just share with you, this is a very important Musar idea, to not just act without thought, but to have a forethought when we do things. So I was talking with a good friend of mine a few days ago, and he told me an expression which apparently is a very popular expression out there, and that is, we want to not react, we want to respond. We want to respond and not react. So, exactly, if you look those up in the dictionary, you're welcome to do it, but the idea is, react is something which I'm acted upon, and I kind of just do. Like, you push this, I go like this, etc., that kind of thing. We don't want to have to react, because that implies that I'm not in control. It's just this happened, and now I act this way. Someone says something, I get upset. I see something, my emotions start to flow in a certain direction. That's not how we want to live our life. That's not the Musar way to live our life. Instead, the word is respond. Respond carries with it the idea that I observe, I note this and this happened, and I make a decision how I will act. So it's not something that does a reaction, just happens, but actually something happens, I give it a moment to think, and then I respond. So I thought that was a good idea, just to have that little phrase, because sometimes a phrase can encapsulate the whole idea. And these great words of the Mesilas Yesharim, in which he spends many pages talking about, and surely worth reading, but this little phrase of respond, not react, can sort of like bring the whole thing into focus. So I just wanted to leave that with you as something to keep us going and to help us in our actions. Now I will say that it doesn't just happen. It takes a little bit of training, but that's not for today's Musar video blog. Hopefully next week we'll talk about that as well, how to actually acquire this trait of respond and not react. See you next time.